You've been called kind your whole life. Thoughtful, selfless, always there for everyone, and you accept those words as compliment because no one ever told you there was a difference between genuine kindness and people pleasing. But I need you to hear this today. People pleasing is not kindness. It is not generosity. It is not just who you are. For a lot of women, it is a trauma response, and it has been running your life without permission for a very, very long time. So stay right here because this conversation is going to change how you see yourself. It's a tad bit, let's just start that way, okay? Welcome back to the Empowerment Click. I'm the Kenny Tam, empowerment coach, clinician, your people's social worker, and today we're going to go straight into one of the most misunderstanding patterns I've ever encountered in my work with women: people pleasing. And I'm going to say this from the jump. This is not a character flaw. This is not a personality quirk. This is a learned survival strategy that makes complete sense at some point in your life, and it has overstayed its welcome for many years. Let me define this clearly. People pleasing is the habitual pattern of prioritizing other people's comfort, approval, needs above your own, not from a place of genuine generosity, but from a place of fear of rejection, of conflict, of being seen as difficult, selfish, or too much, fear of losing love or connection. If you dare to say no or express a need or take up space as someone else might find inconvenient, that fear is the engine. The, the, the pleasing is just what it looks like from the outside. And here's a distinction that might matters most. Genuine kindness comes from a full space. It is a choice. You give because you want to, because it aligns your values, because it really feels good. People pleasing come from a depleted space. It is a compulsion. You give because you are afraid of what happens if you do not. One filled you, the other drains you. A lot of women have been confusing the two for their entire lives because nobody ever handled the language to tell them apart. Genuine kindness comes from a full space. Does that make sense? People pleasing comes from a space that you know is not controlled. Here's where the self-worth layer comes from. People pleasing almost always grew from a wound in how a woman understands her own value. When you believe, even unconsciously, that your worth is conditional or how agreeable you are, you always have to feel you're helpful. How little to trouble or more drama you want to cause. You will organize your entire life around maintaining that kind of approval. You will say yes when you mean no. You will apologize for things that are not your fault. You will make yourself smaller, quieter, easier to be around. Because somewhere in history you learned that being fully yourself with all your needs and opinions and limits was a risk. And some people pleasing was a way you managed that risk. I think about women who told me she has never once in her adult life ordered what she actually wanted at a restaurant when she was out with people. She always ordered what felt least inconvenient, what nobody would comment on, what would not draw attention. And when she said it out loud, she laughed. But then she got quiet. Because she realized that was not just about food. That was the blueprint to how she moved through her entire life, minimizing herself. She moved through her entire life in every space to make sure nobody bothered her about her existence. That is people pleasing in the most honest form, not grand gestures or self-sacrifice, just a quiet daily erasure of your own preference, one small moment at a time. What people do not always realize is that people pleasing does not protect relationships. It poisons them because you cannot genuinely, have genuine intimacy with someone who only sees you in curated, managed, agreeable version. You cannot feel truly love when the love you are receiving is from a performance rather than a person. And over time, the resentment that builds from consistency betrayal in yourself for the sake of others create a bitterness that has nowhere healthy to go. It comes out sideways in exhaustion and passive distance and a low grade anger you feel but cannot fully explain because you have been telling yourself and everyone else that everything is fine. So what does healing actually look like? Because naming it is only the beginning. It starts with the pause. The next time you feel the automatic pull to say yes, pause. Just long enough to ask one question. And I'm saying yes because I want to or because I'm afraid of what happens if I say no. You do not have to change the answer yet. Just start noticing what is driving it. Awareness is always the first real act of freedom. It continues with practicing small no's. Not the big computation, not the dramatic boundary setting moment. Just one small no this week is a low stake situation. And then sit with the discomfort that follows. Know that the relationship survives it. Know that you survived it. Your nervous system needs the evidence. It needs to learn through experiences that saying no does not destroy connection. That your needs do not make you a burden. That you are allowed to be a whole person and still be loved. And I want to leave you with this reframe that I need you to carry with. Every time you people please, you are not being kind to the other person. You are being dishonest with them. I know. You're like, what? You are showing them a version of you that is not real. And you are building the relationship on a foundation that cannot hold the weight of your full truth. Real kindness includes your honesty. Love can handle your no. And any connection that only works when you are disappearing inside of it is not a connection at all. Nothing worth protecting at the cost of yourself. You are not put here to make everyone comfortable, hon. You are put here to live fully. And it is truly, truly time to start that. If you are ready for the next real work breaking this pattern, my attitude free detox guide in the description is a starting point for women who are done saying yes to everything except themselves. Grab it. It's free. It's real. Read it at your own pace. And subscribe to the Empowerment Click if you haven't already because this series is about to get started. This is the Kenya team, and this is a check.